hilarious. And one of his hilarious stories that I like to tell people, because it's so funny to me, is when he was, a really young Christian. He's really young in the Lord. And he was real zealous. So he would go around and minister to all these people. Minister, to everybody. So he goes out in the street and he gets this guy who he describes looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And so he says, he goes to get this guy. He brings him back to the church. They going to get him saved, right? So Pastor Steve said, when the guy comes in, he's big, and he's looking at the women on the front pew of the church, and they go to pray, him, his pastor, and they do this circle prayer, and he starts binding up the spirit. So he said, while he's like, in God I bind, and he said the spirit spoke out of the guy and was like, why did you bind me? And he said, all he could think of is, now I brought Arnold Schwarzenegger in the church, demon possessed. And he said, well, I figured the flesh got me in it, the flesh was going to get me out. So he said he went and got a chair. And then his pastor followed behind and got a chair. They didn't actually have to use it, but that was one of his very funny stories. I certainly can't tell it like he does. But another thing about Pastor Steve is his vision for an international ministry. And one of the things that I very much enjoyed about being here is that all types of people could come here and feel welcome. All types of people could come here and find their place.
Yes.
And so I just want to sing this last song, hopefully, Pastor Joel.
Amen.
It's a Spanish and English mix. And as I told you guys first, I'm not good enough to be a performer, so if you can just stand and kind of just worship with